Just in case there was any question as to whether or not I do in fact possess the only known example of a Honda ATC 250R prototype, I do. So I can settle that for you right now. I did some very extensive detailed videos about all the things that make it a prototype and why, and backing them up with facts. I also don't understand, widely I've gotten pretty much overall support where people believe the facts because they are facts, but occasionally I get a couple people that just don't want to believe it. Now, if we were watching Richard Rawlings or Dennis Collins or that guy with the curly Q mustache on Chasing Classic Cars, and somebody had some prototype Mustang or Firebird or whatever, we'd be all enthralled and we'd watch starry-eyed as we got educated on prototypes. So a topic of internet conversation this thing is getting to be, and most people say why and what for. If you're going to make an industry first racing competition three-wheeler, you have to know what you're doing. You can't just adapt a US 90. They tried that. It only went so far. So when you're going to do industry first disc brakes, you're going to have front and rear suspension, and you're going to have a reed valve induction CR250 type 2-stroke engine with a counterbalance that's gear driven. All this stuff needs proved. You can't just decide I'm going to do it. And in 1976 or 77, they didn't have some internet program where they could punch everything in and it would make a little digital three-wheeler and test it through riding. So this is their test unit, pre-production testing unit. It's a prototype. You hear it all the time at the auto shows. The manufacturers bring their concept cars out. Sometimes they never even make it to production because it's just not feasible. Sometimes they find some design flaw that they didn't know was there until after testing. This is the testing unit that would become this. Now, if you want to go back and watch all the videos, you can, but I'm here to tell you now that fake is not the right word. Real is the correct word, but fake doesn't even qualify. Fake would imply it's some kind of hologram and you couldn't touch it. Clearly, you can touch it. So if you want to act like you have some kind of an education and ranging vocabulary, you could use the word misrepresentation or misrepresented, and that would imply that I'm lying. And you can say that, but you're wrong. And again, there's multiple videos that would prove you wrong. I don't need to sit here and play defense attorney. I know what I have. Rob Selvey knew what it was. Dean Sundahl probably by now has seen pictures, or at least has heard something of this. And nobody homemade this. This was a pre-production experimental test unit that Honda needed to find all the weak points. So when that hit the showroom in '81, the weak points were taken care of. There's nobody that was making engine cases, making fork tubes, making swing arms, making frames, doing all this kind of stuff. It just wasn't the case. So I don't understand why there's such doubt and an impossibility to believe that this is the case. This is the kind of stuff that was done. If somebody had some old Model T prototype, look at the Wheels Through Time Museum. They have factory Indian and factory Harley-Davidson racers that they made 8 of or 12 of, and only the racing team got them. Why is it so foreign for people to imagine that Honda had to have a proof of concept test unit in order to create a production unit? They had prototypes for every one of these three-wheelers you see here. And if you look in the literature, sometimes you'll see an 83 200X, that's an 84, with the wrong kicker on it. You'll see 86 200X with 350X wheels on it, because they used the pre-productions to make the literature to get on the counter to sell at the dealer well before they had production units in order. I'm not going to go through all the differences here, but if you're going to call me a liar, you're dead wrong, so don't even bother.